Hello, my woke snowflakes. I thought we'd do something a little bit different. You're seeing an approximation of my face, just for a bit of funsies. And in today's video, we are going to be looking into Laura Kuenssberg. Yes, the BBC reporter who got into a bit of a pickle recently because she doesn't know how email works. Let's get on with it and let's see what kind of sassy stuff I have to say about Laura Kuenssberg.
Because I want a better deal for the people of this country. Quite close colleagues.
Ever sent a message to the wrong person and felt your heart sink? Well, you've got to feel for Laura Kuenssberg. She's been forced to cancel her interview with Boris Johnson after a monumental mess-up. She was due to conduct the former Prime Minister's first major interview since leaving Number 10. He was expected to be grilled about Brexit, COVID and Partygate, but instead of sending her interview research to her team, she actually sent it to Johnson.
While prepping to interview Boris Johnson tomorrow, by mistake I sent our briefing notes to him in a message meant for my team. That obviously means it's not right for the interview to go ahead. It's very frustrating, and there's no point pretending it's anything other than embarrassing and disappointing, as there are plenty of important questions to be asked. But red faces aside, honesty is the best policy. See you on Sunday.
The Mirror. BBC issued urgent EastEnders schedule change after Laura Kuenssberg's Boris Johnson gaffe.
During her time at the BBC, Laura Kuenssberg has been involved in a series of gaffes and yet somehow keeps her job. Let's take a look at some of the things she's done. She said that MPs had shaken babies.
And Laura, I think it's safe to say this is not the election campaign that Theresa May expected or indeed planned.
Well, you're right, George. They've shaken babies. They have, forgive me, they've kissed the babies. They've shaken hands.
She was pro-Johnson when he was approached by a father over the state of the NHS.
Another very, very awkward encounter for PM, taken to task by a parent on a children's ward in London, where he says repeatedly that the NHS has been destroyed. Johnson like rabbit in headlights.
Not enough people on this ward. There are not enough doctors, there are not enough nurses, it's not well organised enough. The NHS has been destroyed. It's been destroyed. It's been destroyed. And now you come here for a press opportunity.
Well, actually, there's no press here.
What do you mean there's no press here? Who are these people?
Sir, will you just stop raising your
Well, that's not going to fix things now. It's a bit late, isn't it? I mean, years and years and years of this NHS being destroyed. And you're telling me there's no press here? There's no press here?
As far as I'm aware, this is not a...
This isn't a press opportunity. You didn't invite the press here. You didn't ask them to come. That's what, you don't have a press handler back there. Okay, well, fine. Well, in your la la land, believe whatever you want. Thank you.
Following on from the awkward confrontation, Kuenssberg tweeted,
Turns out that the man who challenged the PM is also a Labour activist.
Matt Hancock was dispatched to clean up Johnson's mess. That went about as well as you would expect.
Shame on you! 10 years of underfunding this system! We do not want you in this city! We do not want you in this country! You are not welcome in this brown hospital! You are not welcome in this hospital! You are not welcome in this country! Keeping on the floor, hospital! You look after these people. They've devastated our country. They've absolutely devastated our country. There's nothing left.
Why is that boy sleeping on the floor?
These people have devastated our country!
Disgusting!
I pointed my hand at you, walked into it.
Following this protest, Kuenssberg tweeted,
So Matt Hancock was dispatched to Leeds General, sorry, not just Leeds Hospital, to try and sort out mess. Hearing Labour activists scrambled to go and protest, and it turned nasty when they arrived. One of them punched Hancock's advisor. Except there was no punch.
These people have devastated our country. I pointed my hand there, you walked into it.
So she followed up with,
I've seen video from Hancock leaving Leeds General just come through, so you can see for yourself. It doesn't look like a punch thrown, rather one of Tory team walks into protester's arm. Pretty grim encounter.
if Kuenssberg thought no one would notice her tweet, she was sorely mistaken.
In G100, BBC's Laura Kuenssberg criticised the reporting that a Tory aide was punched. The National Scots, BBC's Kuenssberg removes tweets about activist punching Tory aide.
Kuenssberg was forced to apologise. I bet she loved having to do that.
Happy to apologise for earlier confusion about the punch that wasn't a punch outside Leeds General. Two sources suggested it happened, but clear from video that was wrong.
What a sincere apology. She was having unauthorised chats with Dominic Cummings during lockdown.
I did occasionally talk to people. The main person really though that I spoke to in the whole of 2020 was Laura Kuenssberg at the BBC, because the BBC has a special position in the country, obviously during a crisis. And because I was in the room for certain crucial things, I could give guidance to her on certain very big stories. For example, I'll give you an example of the sort of thing I did. On the 18th, the Wednesday, the 18th of March, huge rumours spread that there was going to be a London-only lockdown, and pictures started appearing in some of the media and websites about tanks encircling the M25 and cutting it off and whatnot. Laura Kuenssberg called me and said, "This story is happening. Is it true?" I said, "I can categorically tell you it's definitely not true. You should definitely not report it. I absolutely 100% guarantee it." And that meant that the BBC did not, like some of the media did, run the story.
Before we were made aware of the chats, Kuenssberg was accused of supporting Cummings when it emerged he'd illegally driven to Barnard Castle during lockdown.
The PM's chief advisor did travel from London to County Durham during lockdown when he and his wife had coronavirus to stay in a separate building at his family's farm, a source close to him confirms. Source says it's not true that he was spoken to by police. Source says his trip was within guidelines as Cummings went to stay with his parents so they could help with childcare while he and his wife are ill. They insist no breach of lockdown.
The Telegraph. Unauthorised chats with Laura Kuenssberg were my way of setting the record straight, claims Dominic Cummings. Press Gazette. BBC backs Laura Kuenssberg after complaints over tweets defending Dominic Cummings.
She misrepresented an interview with Jeremy Corbyn. Kuenssberg reported that she had asked Corbyn
if he were the resident here at number 10, whether or not he would be happy for British officers to pull the trigger in the event of a Paris-style attack.
The question she actually asked was,
if you were Prime Minister, would you be happy to order people, police or military, to shoot to kill on Britain's streets?
BBC News. Laura Kuenssberg report on Jeremy Corbyn inaccurate, says BBC Trust.
During a press conference, she was hissed at by Jeremy Corbyn supporters, which isn't surprising considering the amount of lies she spread about him.
Laura Kuenssberg from the BBC. Thank you very much.
She had a hot mic moment moaning that Boris Johnson didn't answer the right question, so I'm guessing she's used to sending him questions in advance.
Laura Kuenssberg, BBC.
Thank you very much, Mr. Prime Minister. Should members of the public be booking summer holidays or not, whether at home or abroad? Because the Transport Secretary this morning warned people against booking anything at all. And Sir Patrick, if I may, how concerned are you about the potential of the variant that's been picked up in Bristol, where there have been 14 cases in that city already, and suggestions it might be more transmissible than some of the other variants around?
Thanks, Laura. Well, as you know, as everybody knows, it's currently illegal to go on holiday. That's the state of play at the moment. We're looking at the data every day. On Monday, we'll be able to say a little bit more about where we are in terms of the JCVI 1 to 4 group, and we hope, and where the data is then. And in the week of the 22nd, as I said, we'll be setting out the roadmap, and that is the best I can give. There's not an awful long delay now between now and the 22nd, but I hope that we'll be able to give some more clarity to people then, Laura. Thank you. Tom Clark, ITV News.
She might have also broken electoral law by talking about postal votes before the polling stations closed.
Also, there is this question now about turnout. We haven't really talked much about turnout, actually, over the campaign, but that now is coming to the sort of front and centre of people's minds.
Certainly, and the forecast is it's going to be wet and cold tomorrow. The postal votes, of course, have already arrived. The parties, they're not meant to look at it, but they do kind of get a hint. And on both sides, people are telling me that the postal votes that are in are looking pretty grim for Labour in a lot of parts of the country. Of course, postal voters tend to skew to elderly voters and people who vote, I was going to say vote early and often. Obviously not. But the kind of younger generation who we know skew much more to the Labour Party, you might expect to turn out to the polls tomorrow. But in this winter election, turnout is just another one of these factors that we just can't predict.
The Independent. BBC's Laura Kuenssberg may have broken electoral law by speculating about postal votes, Electoral Commission indicates.
There was more shameless Boris Johnson fawning and promotion over fish, of all things.
There it is. It was only a matter of time.
What does that even mean? There was that time she got called a Dumbo by Nicki Minaj, of all people.
I love him, even though I guess this was a diss. The accent, ugh, yes, boo.
2021, everyone.
Yes, when jackasses hang on to my every tweet but can't decipher sarcasm and humour and can't read, go away, Dumbo.
Go away, Dumbo. 10 out of 10, chef's kiss. No notes. There was that time she said the C word and didn't even bat an eyelid. She wasn't even trying to say Jeremy Hunt's name.
And I suppose...
Well, the electorate gives with one hand and takes away with the other within moments of each other. But just let's also remember a very, very knife-edge result in Westmoreland where Tim Farron, the current party leader, is facing potential defeat. This chapter they're about to recount.
The Mirror, BBC News journalist accidentally said live on air during general election coverage.
How much is this magnificent display of journalism costing the licence fee payer? £325,000. That's up from £260,000 in the year 2020 to 2021. Is she worth that money?
Byline Times. Laura Kuenssberg's time as BBC political editor has been a catastrophic systemic failure. On her watch, lies were not just permitted, they were amplified and given credibility by Britain's state broadcaster. At least partly as a result of this, the UK government now routinely lies with impunity. The country's national standing has been irreparably harmed and trust in the political system has been trashed.
What do you think? Is Kuenssberg value for money? Drop a comment and let me know. And don't forget to like and subscribe, it really helps get my videos out to more people. Until next time, toodle pip.